For autopsies, electrocuted or frozen cases, and cases where rigor mortis has passed off prior to embalming. 100% this is a form of embalming fluid. Alright, hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Today Sonny and I are going to be exploring an abandoned funeral home. Super hyped to be here just because we've never done a place like this before. It's something new and we're just excited to take you guys around this place, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So let's head on around here and see what we can find. Okay guys, so right here we are starting off in the chapel area. This is where they would actually host the main funeral services, and you can see all the chairs all lined up, and you can just envision this place back when it was open, full of people coming in here, ready to, mourn that friend, family member, loved one. And just the level of decay in here is crazy. It's probably been sitting here for quite a long time, and all the water damage, but I think you can still feel all those memories, like they're still here. Here's a little bit more of like a close look at those chairs. Just so much decay and debris all over them. It's just, I don't know, kind of like a weird vibe. I haven't really been to an abandoned funeral home, but I haven't really had many experiences with even active funeral homes. It's not something I'm really used to. So, but yeah, there is like this heavier vibe in here. I mean, again, it's always a sad time when people come here, and I don't think that just goes away. Again, it's just weird looking into these chairs and thinking about how someone's parents, grandparents, children, close friends, they were all sitting here at one point, and this is like such a core memory for them, that they're still out there all in the world. Thinking about that, the dreadful day that they had to sit here and say goodbye. That's what this place means to so many people, even if, we're not experiencing that right now, but like I said, you really can feel that in here. And even over here, all over the ground, obviously, but even in these couches, you can just see the incredible amount of decay and what this place has been through. Like, it literally just looks like strings. It is so tattered. It is so far from the image of probably what it looked like when this place was, active, and just an odd, decrepit feel. It's just crazy how much this building has probably been through. Even down here, it looks like there's like some sort of a board from maybe one of the last funeral services that were held here. You see it said chapel closes at 9 for maybe George. But countless names were probably on this board over and over and over throughout the years. There was one memory for, hundreds of people out here, coming in, seeing this board, seeing that friend's name on here, and you can only imagine their feelings. And now it's on the ground, rusting away. And over here, I guess there used to be a book where people would sign in as they came into the chapel for the funeral to, register their names and, I guess like for attendance and memory of that person's showing that they're showing up for them. And now, there's nothing really left, but you can still imagine, again, everyone walking up here, person after person, and everything that they were feeling as they wrote down that name. And they're coming in here to say goodbye for that very last time. You can see all the little details that they put in here. Very unique style, lighting, and this whole place is not my conventional idea of what a funeral home would look like, but again, it is probably a little more dated, so it is cool to see little elements like that. And then up here is really the main section. Everyone's facing up towards here to, kind of say goodbye to their, loved one. It's just, eerie to still see a casket there, and it kind of paints that picture for you of what this was like for people when they were sitting here, what exactly they were looking at. It's still, very reminiscent of what this place could have been like when it was active. So it feels a little haunting in that way. It almost feels like you're seeing this place through the perspective of all those people who lost their loved ones and what exactly they saw. And here's a closer look at that casket. Again, just such an eerie thing to see, just for me at least, because I've never seen a casket, abandoned or not. I've never really been to many funerals, so it just has a haunting feel to it to look at this and know, whether it's a display or if it was used, who even knows. what this, what this really means. When you look at a casket, it's just a very heavy feeling. And up here you can see there were some flowers and now they're just all dried up. And again, it kind of feels like a weird like parallel, like everything kind of like coming to a close here, decaying, falling apart, coming to an end. Even the flowers dying, it's just, I don't know, I feel like it really matches the mood of this place right now. Even over here too, there's just more dying flowers and little candles that you can imagine would have been lit in memory of the person here at their funeral. I guess maybe if some people were religious, there would be, elements like that to, believe wherever they were going, if it was heaven or whatever they thought in their religion, their beliefs, providing some sort of sense of final comfort. And over here, it looks like this room would have been like separated off. I feel like sometimes they do that just to give the family a little bit more privacy. Sometimes it's nice for them to kind of go off and have a little space for themselves instead of just being confined to the main chapel area. We can also see that there is a little piano here, and I feel like that's such a common thing that like a pianist might be playing a little music to fill the space, kind of do something to, I guess, like lighten the mood per se a little bit. And who knows, again, too, if they were religious, maybe they'd play some religious music, some sort of thing that, I guess, provides some sense of comfort and peace of where that person may be going, this sense of heaven or the great beyond. And I guess on a lighter note, there's a little demented-looking lady with a little hand out, maybe begging for some money, I have no idea, but she looks really creepy. It's so weird that I was just talking so much about religion. We found a little section where the restrooms would have been, and there's a rosary right just casually hanging on one of the switches. And then actually I wanted to show you how crazy the decay is here. So you can see obviously there's a lot of paint peelies and Sonny's helping out with some lighting. Oh, there's more paint peelies, but the stairwell, yeah, just completely is gone. And the basement's flooded too. But I guess no one's getting to use the restroom. But wow. Yeah, this is what we say when we mean quite literally that it can be really dangerous. You can actually see the stairwell going up also is completely obliterated. So this is why we say it's so important to be careful when you go exploring, because the last thing you want to do is be on top of those stairs when they cave down. Okay guys, so now we are in a slightly different section, something that not everyone gets to see. This is the embalming room. So kind of where they would prepare everyone that was going to be maybe on display at an open casket in the chapel, that they would go through the embalming process. So let's go head on in there and check it out. So you can see one of the first things on the door when you first walk in is danger formaldehyde, which is actually one of the main chemicals that is found in embalming fluid. And you have to be very careful when you are handling a chemical like that, as it says on the little sign. It says irritant, potential cancer hazard. So, not just anyone would be in here. This would be for professionals only, probably the mortician. All right, so here's the main kind of feature that most people will identify pretty easily when coming into an embalming room is the embalming table. Usually these are made of porcelain, which it looks like this one is, and you can actually see at the bottom there's a little hole. There's also, I believe, one at the top, and there's a little like ridge around the edge so that any both bodily fluids or embalming fluids could be drained out and down into that bucket, because the main process of embalming is removing all those bodily fluids, which gets replaced with the embalming fluid, and that's what helps to preserve the body. And then down here is the actual bucket, which has this, really weird reddish, rusty tone to it. And again, like I said, probably so many gallons of fluid, from countless bodies were once in here, and just a weird thing to think about. And of course, there are some biohazard bags as well, because you have to think you're working with a body and there's all these body fluids, and of course you have to dispose of all that appropriately. All the different tools that were being used, there has to be so many different safety precautions in place, so of course they're probably gonna have many of these. Here's a better look at that other end, that big drain hole, and all these switches and everything. Who knows what everything was probably connected to. And then over here in this cabinet, it looks like there's a few things that were probably kept for the mortician's use. Probably things related to preparing the body, so let's go get a closer look at those items. So one of the first things here is liquid cream hair color. So I guess maybe to make their hair look a little more like their color, maybe a little more lifelike. I don't know what exactly happens to the hair after death. I mean, technically hair isn't living actually anyway, that's just a bunch of keratin, but maybe this will make their hair look a little more vibrant. I know part of like the whole embalming process is not just preserving the body, but then it's also, applying makeup and covering maybe any bruises or discoloration, because obviously things like that happen. And then on the lower shelf, there are a few other kinds of bottles. There's some hydrogen peroxide, which to be honest, I'm not really sure what would be the role of that. But over here, there is a bottle. It says the Embalmer Supply Company. And it's a Lethal, which I didn't really know what it was at first. It says arterial index 32, and then it mentioned on the bottom, for autopsies, electrocuted or frozen cases, and cases where rigor mortis has passed off prior to embalming. So I think, it says for arterial injection of lethal. So this must have been for the form of arterial embalming, because I know that is one of the two types that you can do. And wow, I didn't actually even think that something like this would still be in here. But yeah, 100% this is a form of embalming fluid. And then over here, there is one more little container of cover-up spray paint, which I actually initially looked at this and I thought it was literal spray paint from like, I don't know, someone coming in here trying to vandalize. But I'm gonna turn around this can and show you what it actually is. So hopefully you guys are able to read that okay. But basically this is like a cover-up, almost like a makeup. Because you have to think some people, when they are deceased, sometimes things happen like blood pooling, or that results in bruising, or again, depending on how the person passed away, there can be all these different kinds of marks. And so this could have been used to cover all of those things, and again, kind of present that person in a way that, people remembered in life, and, take away those marks and bruises and everything like that. So that is really cool to see, because that's kind of part of the makeup process of, after a person's embalmed and getting prepared for a funeral. So that is really amazing to see. There's also this, like a dummy head, maybe for something like wigs. I'm not really sure what something like this would have been used for. A little sink as well, probably for the mortician to clean up, because, there's all kind of things that they're handling. What I really thought was interesting though is that there's this bucket, and on the orange label it actually, I'm not sure if you guys can be able to read it, but it said for embalming use only, pulverized hardening compound. So I'm not again too sure on what that is, but it kind of again validates exactly what's been going on here. It's cool to see little bits of evidence that are still here from the embalming process, and they didn't really dispose of everything, which is a little weird actually. And one last little thing that we noticed in one of the drawers is a paper from Air Quality Research International, and I guess it has to pertain to the use of formaldehyde here, and I guess how they have to, I'm assuming, test the air quality in here. That is something that produces probably a lot of fumes, and probably for the safety of the mortician, for safe work practices, they would want to make sure that everything was up to standards and safe, because like we saw on that danger warning sign, there are carcinogens pretty much. It can cause cancer if you're inhaling too much of this. So that's also kind of interesting to see that there's all this, again, like evidence of really what went down here. Alright guys, there's only one last section for us to do, which is the upstairs. I believe that the funeral director may have also lived in this facility. Seems like maybe there was like an apartment style section up there, so we're gonna go and check that out. Alright, so here we are up in, I guess, the funeral director's kitchen. It is kind of cool to be up here. I mean, there's this little walker. There's literally newspapers everywhere, and all the appliances are a little on the older side, but I always like that because I think the style is way cooler. Actually, this Panasonic, I guess it's a TV, and it still even has like the antennas. I feel like that's kind of rare to come across now, and that's way more unique than the things we have today, so that's pretty freaking dope. Kind of interesting too, because tucked back here there's actually a calendar that you can see says August 1998, and I'm not really sure when this place all became abandoned, or if this apartment went out of use the same time that the funeral home closed, but that's a pretty freaking long time ago. Again, it probably would make sense with the level of decay that this place has seen. Here's some of the other little sections again. I'm not really sure because the style of this place is a little all over the place, and it's hard to kind of gauge like what room is what. It kind of is like there's a little bit of stuff everywhere. I don't know, maybe this could have been more of like a dining section. There's a lot of just, bottles and more newspapers and things like that all just thrown about. And here, looks like we got the bathroom. Also very destroyed, more bottles everywhere, and yeah. Again, there's probably gonna be a lot of decay in here. There's just been so much damage. No one's been upkeeping this place, so it's probably gonna go downhill really soon. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, some of these other areas collapse, seeing how some of those downstairs sections were and how some whole bits were just completely blown through. So who knows how long it'll take until the same thing happens up here. I guess this is one of the ways that you could probably get up from the funeral home section into this apartment area, which again kind of lines up that there's like this kind of like chair aid for someone probably a little older, just able to get up the stairs, just like there was that walker in the kitchen. So I do kind of imagine like someone older, maybe an older couple being here, who knows. But yeah, you can just see it's almost like eerie how it just goes straight down into the darkness, and you can just see the decay building up so slowly the further it goes down. And then here is just yet another room. Slightly older furnishings again that you kind of notice. I mean, that style of chair is definitely a little different. I mean, I like it. It's just definitely a more dated look. I think this TV, just cool, and then just a little bit of decor, and looks like some old bags and luggages and things. Again, just like paint peelies absolutely everywhere. And I think this is kind of interesting that up here on the ceiling fan there's just a teddy bear dangling. Totally not creepy at all. And honestly, as for the rest of the rooms, you can just see it's pretty bare bones, kind of disheveled. Lots of boards in the windows. Nothing else really too exciting, but again, it's kind of interesting to know that someone literally lived above a funeral home and a embalming room, and that's definitely not for everyone. I think it takes a certain kind of person to be in this level of work and the industry, but still, I think we're probably ready to get on out of here.
Ooh, still good.
Still so smooth.
Still so smooth.
I think we're ready to head on out of here.
We're gonna wheel on out of here.
We're gonna wheel on out of here. All right, let's go. All right, guys, I'm gonna end the video right here. I hope you enjoyed exploring this abandoned funeral home with us. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and of course, like always, we'll catch ya in the next one.